Hi everyone. I was asked yesterday about the amygdala points, what they mean and what I'm saying in my mind. And I do say a lot in my mind while I'm doing kinesiology. I've got so many charts and so many emotions and sorry, I just thought of Harry Potter when Hermione said, or Ron said, she couldn't think all that. No one could have that many emotions. And Hermione said, well, just because you've got the emotional depth of a teaspoon or something like that. Sorry. So basically, I'm just going to talk you through the 5 so that when I'm doing these, part of your brain subconsciously will connect. So then if you feel one of them, you can even just hold those little points. And any time, energetically, if you attach to them and simply just hold them, that'll just start, because your intent is to ask the amygdala to start to diffuse. Can't hurt, might help. Central meridian. So basically all 5 of these points are on the central meridian. The central meridian is the meridian that feeds the conscious brain. And the amygdala is that part of the brain that we hear about. You hear about the Vietnam vets. There's a car backfiring and they're under the table. It's that part of the brain that is primed for stress. It's primed for fight and flight, and it happens in an instant. When we're under stress, our brain only has 1/500th of a second to respond consciously, clearly, so basically if we don't respond consciously, then our body goes into the amygdala and it decides, what pattern have I used in the past that is appropriate for this situation? Okay? So anyway, getting into the amygdala, sort of like central, limbic, amygdala point specifically, and then each one is down through here. So to get to the top point, it's where the rib cage meet, and then it's 1 bin above that. So a bin is that. So it's basically about 1 inch, but it's, but some people are tall, some people are short, so that little spot is a different length on each individual. Make sense? So basically in here. So you go to the xiphoid process, so where the rib cage meets, and basically 1 bin above that is the top point. And that one is the pleasure reward center switched off. One of my mums who came in for a treatment this morning, her daughter's 17, she said, I don't want my daughter's pleasure reward center switched on. Anyway, it's not like that. So what this is when your brain is deliberately blocking your pleasure reward centers because it doesn't want you to relax because it knows there's danger coming, okay? And sometimes I do just like, if I'm doing a little balance on myself, sometimes I will do it until I feel either the pulsing, so I'm not tapping it, I'm holding it, and sometimes it just starts to move more because it's pulsing. And if there's real frenetic or agitated stress in my body, sometimes it will look like I'm actually deliberately moving it, but it's just because of the adrenaline whizzing in behind there. So, but sometimes a yawn or burping, one of my clients burps like a crazy chick, when I'm doing balances on her. I've got a few of them actually, and they just go off like it's just nuts. Anyway, so that's the first one. The second one, where the xiphoid meets, and it can be really sore in asthmatics, people with bronchitis, pneumonia, because it's connected to the lung meridian. And that one is fear, threat, danger. So just hold that point. And when you get a nice deep breath, sometimes that's the body going, okay, thanks. Got the energy moving. Sighs are also good. And then another bin down, the third one. So I am actually saying bin. It's a Chinese word. It's in the acupuncture language. So this one here, the third one is pain and punishment circuits. Now, pain and punishment is when you do something and your expectation is that you're going to get in trouble. So that could be even, just say you've got a relationship where someone doesn't get your jokes, and you tell a joke and you're going to get in trouble, or you tell a joke and you're going to get the eyebrow, or it can be as little as having that frown when you spend too much money. It can be that your parents don't agree with something you're doing in your life. It can be your kids. Actually, my cousin down in Melbourne, she doesn't want to wear a mask, and her son just keeps on harassing her. Why won't you just wear one? And of course, until recently, it wasn't actually the law. Now they're getting ridiculous fines. So anyway, pain and punishment is the third one. Next one down is escape, submission, freeze. So wanting to run away. So part of it can be you're in a relationship, good or bad, and your brain just wants to get the hell out of there. It can be that you don't feel able to get on with your life. So the submission, you feel submissive, you feel tamed, you feel like you don't have a say and you don't stand up for yourself. I had a lady who was seeing me years and years ago. We were doing lymphatic drainage massage every week for, I don't know, it was years. I can't remember how many years. But she had so many health problems. And she had a very abusive husband. And the boys were abusive as well. They obviously learned their father's abuse techniques. So she had 3 big men in the house and she was a little lady. So finally, lucky for her, he left her. Had an affair, what a surprise. And her health problems all disappeared one by one. It's amazing what stress holds on to. And she was in that incredibly dominated, submissive role. And obviously the freeze as well. Like she would tell me stories about her being huddled up in the corner, hoping not to be hit. And then the 5th one is rage, anger, frustration. Now the other little trick with the amygdala points is that, once again, this is more a muscle testing thing, but once again, you might, if you're intuitive, you might actually feel it one way or the other. So once again, going back up to the top again. So if you pull to the left, so the top point is the blocked pleasure and reward. So if you pull to the left, if that one feels right, or for kinesiologists, if it unlocks, that means that that's the feminine side of it. So often that's the suppressed. But if it's on the right, it's the masculine, so it's active. So it's like, so for that one, the equivalent might be, I can't think of an element that it's equivalent to. But fear, threat, danger is really obvious, because obviously in Chinese medicine, the kidney element is about fear, threat, danger, internalized, so therefore people don't see it. The bladder element, which is masculine, people see it. They can feel that energy in you. So some energy is internalized, people would never know. Other is externalized. So there can even be that gentle pull to the left and pull to the right, and just see whether one side energetically feels more appropriate for you. Yeah, it's interesting. Each one feels slightly different. Anyway, so they're the core 5 amygdala points that I use. So, again, have a spectacular weekend. Take care.